Good afternoon, Shango.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
That's good. Um, how did you find our location?
It was actually pretty easy to get here.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Thank you for
okay.
coming to see me.
Oh, all right, no problem. Are you comfortable where you are sitting?
I'm very comfortable. Yes.
Do you need anything?
I'm okay. Yeah.
Even a bottle of water?
I have some water with
Oh,
me
okay,
actually.
all
Thank you
right.
though. I
Sounds good,
appreciate it.
sounds good. And are you warm enough?
Very warm. Yeah. Very warm.
Okay, so as we start our session today, what are the most pressing concerns or goals on your mind that you would like us to address today?
I think the main thing right now. So I live alone. I live in a one-bedroom apartment. It's quite expensive in Toronto, as you know. Um, my sister, who I'm very close with, she's looking for a condo right now, and she's promised me, the apartment's yours. She's had it for over 10 years now, so her rent's been stayed the same. So she has
Okay.
a very nice rent control, which makes me want to go like move there because of the increasing rent. So she's been looking for condos, and there's been, you know, ones that her and her fiance are interested in. They put their bid in, and they are pretty much accepted, but then they switch their mind. And this has happened 3 or 4 times throughout the year. And she keeps saying a couple more months to me, when it's just like it's hard to, work around that. I guess I have to get my notice or something, and I'm just making rent just getting by every month. So I'm just waiting for her to get back to me, and she keeps saying, "Hey," and I keep telling her how frustrated I am with this kind of thing, because she promised me over a year ago when I could be looking for other apartments, I could be saving up, and it's just been like that. And I don't know. I guess trying to figure out how to talk to my sister about how frustrated I am, and almost because it's like I'm in a situation where I need housing if I'm not here. You know?
Okay, so if I'm hearing correctly, it's been a year now
Mm-hmm.
and ongoing, and you want a place to live,
Yeah.
and your sister and her fiancé are still looking at somewhere bigger. That way, they
Mm-hmm.
can also like accommodate you.
Mm-hmm.
And she hasn't gotten back to you yet, and you are kind of frustrated with the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct?
Totally. Yeah. And to add on to that, I don't have a great relationship with my neighbors. They throw parties all the time. It's not an enjoyable place to be living. I work quite early, 5 days a week. It's something that's been very detrimental to my everyday living. And I've brought it up to my landlord, nothing's happening. So it's something that it's always on my mind. And when my sister brought up this opportunity, I was like, well, this is great. But again, this was over a year ago now. And yeah, it's been very frustrating.
Okay. So one thing I would like to know is how close are you with your sister?
I'm very close, yeah, very close to my sister. And I think I tried to talk to her how frustrated I am, but she's not really understanding my situation to the
Okay.
fullest.
And looking at the situation, how does that make you feel? Besides being frustrated.
I'm disrespected, I guess, too. Since we're siblings, you'd want her to listen to your issues, right? And especially when she's the one that brought it up to me, I wasn't prying to get into her new part or her apartment when she leaves. She offered it to me, so it's very frustrating, but also annoying as well. I would say that
Okay.
she's not listening to my.
I'm really sorry you feel frustrated with the situation, and on top of that, you feel disrespected. As again, it's not really your fault,
Yeah.
and I'm really sorry about that.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for how you feel,
Yeah.
and if there's anything I can do to help, I am here to listen.
I appreciate that. No, yeah, I just I guess outside of here, I don't have many people to talk to, so I appreciate you coming, me coming for you to listen, I guess. And yeah, it's not like she's looking for a condo, and it's hard, how a condo market. I'm not sure how housing market really works, but I feel like it's always busy. It's hard to get a place with offers and everything. So I don't blame her not finding the exact place she wants, but there are so many factors that this place is great, and my parents, everyone's like, oh, why don't you? This is a great price, and they don't do it, and which is fine, like fine on their end, but it's just like don't keep egging me on that it's gonna be a couple more months, because now it's almost like I'm holding on to this hopeless thing that could happen or could not happen.
So again, if I'm hearing you correctly, it's like you have been waiting
Yeah.
to hear back from your sister about
Mhm.
she looking for a condo, a house, so that
Yeah.
she can move out with her fiancé, and then she can actually give you the apartment she currently lives in.
Mhm.
But then too, it's like time is being wasted,
Mhm.
and you don't know how long you can keep waiting.
Exactly. And there's been situations where some good friends are. Ideally, I would want a one-bedroom apartment because I have two cats with me as well. But I've had opportunities where my other friends would be like, "Oh, found this two-bedroom apartment, really nice two-bedroom apartment, pet friendly. He has a cat. We all get along." And it gives me the opportunity of like, "Hey, this is a great situation, but I'm still waiting on this other situation." So I declined it. And now I'm left kind of regretting that decision in a way where I still want this apartment, but I could be in a way more better situation, like mentally, physically, everything.
Okay.
I think I would, yeah. So yeah, it's just super frustrating, I guess.
And it's okay to be frustrated, and I'm glad that you are here to discuss it with me. And um, as we are here on the topic, I would like to know how I can support you.
I think maybe finding some like family counseling services, or I think that would really help. I feel like when I do talk to my sister or any family member about these problems, it's a very one-on-one kind of talk, I guess, but which is great. But at the same time, I feel like if we had like more of like a professional person there, it would help us deal with what we're trying to deal with without us just being like a
Yeah.
sibling argument talk kind of relationship.
Okay. Tell me about a time you were motivated to like go find your own place instead of waiting on your sister.
I think in the middle of the year, I had all these other opportunities that came and I was really motivated, Like I mentioned, I had two cats and it's hard to find pet friendly places. And I was really motivated to do this, and I just, when all these opportunities come up that are a lot better than mine, I'm very motivated to do it. It's just, this is the one I really want, is my sister's apartment. And I'm more motivated to get that, I guess. But I don't know if it's going to happen.
Okay. What feeling drove this motivation that about a year ago you were so much invested into looking for your own place?
I think for a long time I lived with a house with like 4 or 5 different roommates. A lot of people I didn't know, a lot of sublets kind of here and there. Lived with friends as well, but it came to a point I really was motivated to find my own space, which I have, and I've really enjoyed it until like the last year or so when all these issues with noise and my landlord, area's not safe, all these things are coming into the picture now. So now I was motivated, but now I'm just like so down with myself. I want to be motivated to find get my sister's place, but we'll see. see.
So if I'm hearing correctly, about a year ago, you were motivated to get your own place, and as life happens, you became complacent with the idea that your sister is willing to look for a new place with her fiancé so that she can actually give you the apartment they currently live in. Is that correct?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so looking back, what were some of the like resources you used in finding accommodation or a place?
I did a lot of internet research, Kijiji, Viewit, all these kind of housing apartment sites. Facebook I used as well. And then just like family, friends kind of idea. Yeah, that kind
Okay.
of, yeah.
All right. And besides your sister, is there other supports or support system like family members or even friends from high school or whatever
Yeah.
that you have reached out
Yes.
to discuss the situation with them?
So with my family, it's almost like they listen, but they don't take it as seriously as I try to. But with friends, they see how it is. I almost talk to them daily about these issues coming up. So they're a great support system to have. They've been super supportive. But when it comes to family, we're just not great at communicating to begin with. So it's difficult on that aspect.
Okay. So, if I'm hearing you correctly again, you said like yes, with family, it's like they listen, but they are not really listening to you. So, with that being said, think about a time when someone really listened to you.
Yeah.
How did that experience make you feel?
It felt very validating, and especially when you don't think they're listening, but they are listening about everything. It's a very validating, but it's almost like a trust. There's a trust in that too, right? And I think that's what I'm lacking with my family is I want to talk to them and have this trust factor. And yeah.
Okay, so talking to your family, how did that like impact your connection with them?
It's almost negatively impacted them in a way. Like they're great at, hearing me in a way where it's like they hear how frustrated I am, but they don't help me finding ways to solve it. Whether, my parents talking to my sister or us coming together as a family to talk about this issue because it's becoming an issue that, everyone is noticing, but no one's really talking about except
Okay.
me.
So on a scale to 1 to 10, how close are you with your other family members?
I would say 8 or so. I would say an 8.
And why so?
I say an 8 because we are quite connected, but there are still, we're not the type of family to talk everything about everything, We're not super open. A lot of us, my dad and my brother don't live in the city, so I don't see them as much, but we are still connected. I just feel like to get to that 10, we would have to be all kind of not working towards, but also just have the same mindset when it comes to situations like this.
Okay, so if I'm hearing you correctly, it's like your scale of 1 to 10, you choose an 8, in a sense that it's like your family, you have them around, but you don't get to see them often. And when you talk, you actually talk, but it's not that often. And then when you talk to them too, it's like they are not really listening, but they are actually listening.
Yeah.
And okay,
Yeah.
so what does family mean to you?
That's a very good question. I think togetherness and like love, I guess, and even just saying those things, if those things are present as they should be, this wouldn't be as a problem, Not that there isn't any like togetherness or love. There is plenty of that. I just feel like there could be more.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I would really like to say that even though you are kind of facing your own challenges and your own battles, you are really handling it well.
Thank
And
you.
I would really like to let you know that so far you are doing a good job, even
Thank you.
though not everything has gone the way you expect,
Yeah.
but you are actually handling it well. And I would like to actually like point that out for you
Thank
to
you.
know that you are doing a good job,
Thank you.
even though you haven't actually gotten all the answers you are looking for and all the things that you want it to
Yeah.
happen for you.
I appreciate that. I don't hear that from anybody, especially family, so it's very nice to hear
You're
that.
welcome. And I would really like to ask, reflect on your own strength and positive qualities that you have as an individual looking for an accommodation.
I think I'm very resilient um, and courageous, I would say, to go about that. I've always, from a very young age, I've always kind of been not on my own, but I've been doing a lot of things on my own. So when it comes to situations like this, I'm very confident, I guess is another word, to like find accommodation. Um, and even now, I'm very confident to do it. I wish my sister would give me an answer of like, hey, this isn't gonna happen. We're staying here or whatnot, or we're giving it to someone else, to give me that more motivation to find something.
So, if I am hearing you correctly, you are highly motivated into
Mhm.
looking for your own apartment,
Mhm.
or yes, and you don't know whether it's happening with your sister or it's not happening, and that kind of makes you feel like you are in limbo.
Yeah,
You don't know what
totally.
is happening.
I think limbo is the perfect word because there are other places, but um, I can afford, but they are a lot more expensive, which would, be hard going forward. And but the situation with my sister is so ideal. It's close to my mom's house. It's close to all my friends' house. Like it's such an ideal situation that I want to hold on for this.
Okay, so is it okay if I say you feel complacent with um, trying to get your sister's apartment?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
Okay, and can I please look at my
Of
notes real
course,
quick?
of
Thank
course.
you. And earlier you mentioned some of your strength and positive qualities in trying to get accommodation.
Mhm.
And I would like to know how some of these aspects or some of these qualities or strength can support the change that you want to make in your own life right now.
I think, when it comes to housing, having that motivation and that like courageousness to find something is really helpful. Um, but at the same time, it's nice to have those feelings. But I have some place that's always that's in my head. It's hard to see a different space and be very motivated to move somewhere when I already have somewhere I want to be. Um, but yeah, it's kind of hard in a way.
Okay. Do you currently live on your own or you live with roommates or?
I live alone currently.
Okay. All right. So think about a challenging situation you have faced whilst living alone.
Yeah, I think. Oh man, when it comes to getting rent together, um, I have two cats too, so dealing with that situation, leaving them home a lot. Um, Cleanliness can be an issue sometimes as well when you're living alone. Yeah, I think those are the
Okay,
issues
so
I would
if I'm
say.
hearing you correctly, like you currently live alone
Yeah.
and keeping your place clean is a challenge sometimes.
Yeah,
Okay, and
especially working like 5 days a week and then coming home to my neighbors partying and I don't have that I guess the motivation to fully do everything. know.
And have you considered like sharing the apartment you currently live in with like roommates? That way, like in terms of rent and stuff like
Yeah.
that, it can be a little bit on the moderate kind of
Yeah.
side.
I
That way you
think
don't feel the pressure of financial burden.
I think I've thought about that, but at the same time, I really do love living alone. Um, Even though in a situation where it's like it's not the best apartment, I do like living alone, and I think coming from roommate situations, I've really like established that I want to live alone. I think, and I think that's what I would want. going
Okay.
forward.
And how does living alone impact your life? And what comes to mind when you think about it?
Oh man, there's a lot of factors. I think living alone's great in so many, you know, ways that you want, how you want to make your house be. But at the same time, I'm a very social person too, so it's hard to. I get there's a lot of quiet time, and um, yeah, there's definitely the pros and cons of both living together or living alone.
Okay. And what are some of the pros you would consider living alone?
I think, having the comfort space. You don't have to worry about coming home and being like, oh, who's gonna be home? Roommate's home. I think coming home and, making my dinner without any issues or, just the comfortableness of everything. I really enjoy. About
Okay,
living
so
alone.
if I'm hearing you correctly, like living alone is comfortable for you, and you don't have to worry about who is home when you are coming from when you get off work, and it's like you do find comfort in living alone.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct?
Yeah, I've really, over the past year, even though it has been up and down, um, I think for the most part, I've realized that living alone is how I want to see myself going forward in other
Okay.
apartments.
Do you kind of feel any emotions that run through your mind or your body living alone?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Definitely, there's some loneliness there that happens when it's like, when it's cold winter nights like tonight, but it doesn't outweigh my wanting to live alone, if that makes sense.
Okay, and what strategies have helped you cope with living alone?
I think just hanging out with friends, even it is a one bedroom apartment, it does give me that freedom to invite whoever I want over and stuff. So when I am feeling that challenge of like, oh, I'm feeling lonely or whatnot, I do invite people over. Um, and yeah, I guess financially is another challenge. It's hard to maintain a one bedroom apartment in Toronto. Um, yeah, and obviously that's why I want my sister's place.
Okay. So, do you practice any mindfulness practices?
I actually haven't, but it's definitely something I would like to explore, like some mindful meditation or something. I think that would kind of help my stress.
Yeah, and how would that like contribute to your self-awareness and your emotional regulation?
I think when it comes to my relationship with my sister, it kind of helps me take a step back and look at the big picture in a way instead of getting caught up in my own emotions and my own thoughts. I think of maybe, like I'm not shopping for condos, but maybe there's a specific thing that why they're not getting this place. Maybe it's a bad landlord. Maybe it's a bad company, condo company or something or whatnot. Maybe they're getting, screwed for something, all these factors I think I should look at in a big picture.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good. And what would you do if a year from now or 2 years from now your sister never gets back to you? How are you going to cope with your current situation?
I think by that point, I would have an answer. I think for a whole year of her going a couple months, or couple weeks, whatnot, and that going another year would definitely make me understand. okay, it's definitely not gonna happen, and I have to find an alternative solution.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I'm hearing correctly, if let's say your sister never gets back to you, you would be disappointed.
Yeah.
But then you would actually like it to motivate you to look into other
I think
options.
so. I think it would be, whether it be roommate situation or not, at least I would feel comfortable getting something that I would want, you know? Like,
Okay.
yeah.
And for time purposes, I just wanted to touch base with
Yeah.
you on everything we have talked about.
Mhm.
So you currently live alone, and with a financial constraint or burdens, it's easier if you live with your sister
Mhm.
and her husband or her fiancé, but then too she's taking longer to get back to you, and that situation makes you feel frustrated. And we have talked about some coping mechanisms that you do to be able to cope with your situation. We explored like roommate situation, and you said you don't want a situation whereby you feel like who is home after work, and also we touched base on living alone and keeping the place tidy and clean. That's also a problem for you at the moment. And a year ago, you were highly motivated to look for your own place, but you became complacent in hoping and thinking and like having this mindset that, will my sister just find something that way I can actually move in with you? Okay. And also like you incorporating some mindfulness practices into your day-to-day life, and you exploring roommate situation before, and it's actually challenging, and that's not what you're looking for at the moment, and you are just hoping that your sister will get back to you on time. That way
Exactly.
you can actually figure out what you are doing, and if she doesn't, you'll be highly motivated to look for
Exactly.
something else.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. And I would like to know, what is your takeaway from this session we had today?
It's been great. I think it's opened up my mind to a lot. I think when it comes to a certain situation, talking to family only gets me so far. Talking to friends is great, but talking to someone who has a professional opinion, I guess, is really beneficial.
All right, thank you.
I appreciate it.
And I appreciate your time as
Yeah.
well for coming in today.
Yeah, thank you.
And I was wondering if how best I can also support you. I know you
Yeah.
already mentioned it earlier, but then too, I would just like to ask again, how can I best support you?
I think maybe if we can schedule another a session for upcoming weeks, that'd be amazing. And maybe just providing some family resources that maybe we can, my family all together, we could kind of
Okay.
attend.
All right. And is it possible if I also connect you to our housing program we have?
That would be amazing.
All
Yeah,
right.
that'd be great.
Okay.
Yeah, I really appreciate
All right.
that.
Then we'll see you next time.
Okay.
Thank you for coming
Thank
in.
you, Eric. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you too.
Okay.
Bye now.
Bye.